Can't see this. Okay, like a wind that pushes the foam of the wave away, revealing the clarity of the ocean beneath you. You will literally feel throughout your being that there never was a dream. Some memories might remain with you, and you will know that somewhere you must have dreamed a dream or had a thought of wondering what it would be like to be other than any way but God. But it will be such a faint echo, you will leave no trace upon you. In your heart, you will smile gently, regardless of the circumstances in which you find yourself. There will be peace from the crown of the head to the tips of the toes, and that peace will walk before you wherever you go. It will enter a room before you enter it with a body. And those who are becoming sensitive will wonder who has come into their place. And some will even say, "Behold, I believe Christ has come for dinner." And you will be that one, for that is who you are, Christ eternal. And this is awakening from the dream. That's what we're here. That's what this is all about. You know, I love that image of before we walk into a room, the energy will precede itself.
That's right.
And I do believe, you know, people often tell me that here on Sundays, that when they walk in, it's palpable, the love, the acceptance, the energy that is felt here. It's just unconditional joy. And so that it's kind of like the spirits of the angels are here on, you know, all week long, and then Sunday when we walk in, it's like, whoo, and it's very, very powerful. But, you know, we compromise that for crap, you know? It's, we think, I didn't put this down, but I read a quote from Jim Carrey, and it really struck me this week. And I had this experience, not to his extent by any means, but I had a fairly successful past life. I had accomplished all my goals, played good golf, had good jobs, some money, you know, and I quit golf. And I lost the money, and et cetera, et cetera. But but the point being is, he says, I wish that everybody could have the experience of reaching all their goals, making lots of money, to realize that's not where it's at. And because, you know, we keep thinking again, it's out there, it's out there, it's out there, it's out there. And believe me, there's nothing wrong with having stuff. I mean, that's fun too. It really is. But it's our attachment and our need to get it, instead of just sort of being open and led and grateful. And, you know, if you have it, it's great. And if you don't have it, that's okay too. I know that there was a fellow who worked for me in Florida. This guy was a gifted, he retired as a Church of Christ minister. And this guy could quote the Course in Miracles backwards, forwards, right, left, upside down, and backwards. He knew what was on every page. He had one of his memories. Great speaker. The guy's life was in the toilet. I mean, this guy, you know, he was definitely able to speak it, but he wasn't walking it. And this, again, is not a criticism. It was just like, you wanted so badly, because he'd get up here and he'd be, you know, he was a dynamic speaker. But he had a lot of issues, a lot of problems, and one of which was money. He had zero money. And so I'm like, you know, go to Walmart, get a job. I mean, you know, there's nothing wrong with working at Walmart or doing what you have to do to pay the bills. And he just snapped back at me. He goes, I shouldn't have to. And you know, sometimes you got to do what you got to do to make it work. And unfortunately, from last I heard, he was living homeless, beard, in the streets, because he was too arrogant to do what he had to do. And when Spirit provides, you know, to those who help themselves. And I really think that there's a quote that Ellen always says. It says, when you are willing to do that which you were not willing to do, Spirit won't ask it of you. And I know in my heart that I'd be fine working at Walmart. It's kind of like there's no harm, no foul there with me. And so it's all good. As a matter of fact, I was there just last week, and I met the most beautiful woman who had just moved here, bright young lady. And that sort of brought me back to this whole story. And she was probably 30. We just got talking. I always get talking to the checkout people. It was late at night. I tend to go over there late at night. And so she came here looking for a job, and she hadn't been able to find her. This woman had a master's degree. She worked in social services. She's really a cool woman. But guess what? She was doing what she had to do to take care of her family. And she did it with a smile on her face. And she moved here knowing nobody. She brought her kids. And I know she's probably, if she doesn't have a job yet, she's going to do just fine because she had that spirit of willingness. And I think that if we just would have that little bit of willingness as Spirit asks us to have, just to do maybe what we don't necessarily want to do, but it's all working together for our greater good. So we obviously welcome everyone here. That's no secret. Everyone is welcome in the rooms, and we're a blessed place because Spirit knows better than any of us what is our highest and best good. So what would it be like, if we really did have the courage to live our lives as free, open, and evolving beings and trusted that entire process? I don't think we can imagine. Another statement from A Course in Miracles that I love, it says, just envision for a moment the greatest thing you can remember or feel in your body. Like, what was the best experience of your life? And so, we can all say, oh yeah, it was that vacation or having a baby or whatever. And it says, multiply that by 1,000 and then 1,000 times again. And you still don't have a glimpse of what those few paragraphs were telling us. There's nothing in this world that we can accomplish or achieve that is a glimpse of what heaven is. And heaven is our home. That's our true home. But we have to be willing to wake up from the dream. Otherwise, we're just going to keep recycling the fear and the judgment and the sickness and the condemnation. But we have to be willing to work with Spirit. We have to be willing to trust the process. Let go of the need to be right. Do you prefer to be right or happy? And as most people tell me, I prefer to be happy and right. And sometimes that's possible, but not always. But just be willing to be open to the process and know that there is a greater plan out there for us if we just allow. A lesson from the Course in Miracles says, illusions are investments. They will last as long as you value them. The only way to dispel illusions is to withdraw all investment in them. And that's the truth. We're so invested in the dream. And Gary Renard's book, which is based on A Course in Miracles, Disappearance of the Universe, it's a terrific book. Disappearance of the Universe, the title in itself really says it all. Disappearance of the dream. Once we stop giving it value and being invested in it, it'll disappear. But as long as we're, invested in trying to fix, change, shift this or that, it's going to keep it alive. But the beauty, the transition, the bridge between the dream and heaven is, as I said earlier, orchestrated by the Holy Spirit, the mind of God that lives and dwells within each and every one of us. That's the voice we're asked to listen to, not the voice of the ego that's invested in judging and blaming and condemning and afraid, but rather the Holy Spirit will meet us exactly where we are and show us where to go, what to do, what to say, and to whom. And sometimes that means working at Walmart, and sometimes that means taking the Lasix. Sometimes that means drinking more water, more time in nature, forgiveness. But Holy Spirit meets each and every one of us where we are right now. So don't ask me what your best interest is or what you're supposed to do, because I don't have a clue. Okay, I really don't. But I know Spirit does, and Spirit's got a plan. And if I just ask, I'll be led to the exact book. I know that this was no mistake. I was inspired to pick this back up. As a matter of fact, it's going with me on the camping trip, and I'm going to read a lot of it. You may be inspired to call someone you haven't talked to in a while. You may be inspired to get acupuncture or massage, or take some supplements, or change your diet, or whatever. You just don't know. But every person is on their own path. And we have to, Spirit will lead us exactly to the resource we need for our awakening. The soul knows what to do. So the last quote that I'm going to share from another one of my faves is Paramahansa Yogananda. And he says very simply, "Be still and know that I am God. Learn to be still in body and mind, for where motion ceases, there begins the perception of God." So be still and know that you are God. You are divine, you are love, you are holy. And the more we do that, the dream, the illusion just disappears. So that's what Namaste is. We're a community just following Spirit, choosing joy, being open and receptive, and of course living from our hearts to the best of our ability. And so it is. Namaste.
Namaste.